Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your channel of Math and Engineering Made Easy. Today, we are going to introduce a new unit, which is polynomials. I erroneously mentioned logarithms last session. Unfortunately, I didn't realize you're doing Algebra 1, so we are not going to cover logarithms now. You will cover it in the future. But when we talk polynomials, the word poly means multiple, right? So, what are polynomials? Polynomials are functions that have one or more terms in a variable, let's call it x, where the power of the x's is integer and positive, or non-negative, we should say. So, for example, if I say 4, yeah, I can call that a monomial, one term. Why is it part of a polynomials? Where is the variable? It doesn't matter. I can say the variable is x, and you say, but 4 doesn't have x's. I say, are you sure? What if I say 4x to the 0? Isn't that 4? And 0 is not negative? Yeah, so it's part of a polynomial. Of course, I can say 7y is a monomial. I can say 15w cubed is a monomial because all of these have a variable, whether explicit or implicit, that has a non-negative integer power. Okay? That's a monomial with degree 3. That's a monomial with degree 0. And that's a monomial with degree 1. 17abc squared is a monomial. Why? It's only one term. And all the powers here are non-negative integers. So if I talk about a degree, I can say the degree here is 3, the degree here is 0, the degree here is 1. And what about this degree? Is it 2 because it's the highest? Or is it 1 because it's the lowest? Or it's 1 because it's the most as showing? No, it's none of those. It's the sum of the powers. 1 and 2 is 4. So that's how simple. I can have a binomial. Bi means 2, right? Binomial. Like 4x minus 7 or 53y squared plus y, or plus x, or plus anything. Okay? The degree here is 1 binomial. The degree here is 2. That's the highest power. This is 1, this is 2, so we take the highest and call it the degree. The degree is 2 binomial. I can have a trinomial, 3 terms. All of them have variables with powers that are non-negative integers. And if it's more than that, we don't say quadrinomial, we say just polynomial. So the word polynomial comes from that. When we have equations or expressions and they ask you add them or subtract them or multiply them by a constant or doing any of that, we use the same terms same operations as we do with the regular algebra with numbers, okay? However, I cannot, for example, add 3x plus 4x squared if the variables are not identical. I cannot add them up. So I treat the x different from x squared. Of course, x squared is x times x. So if that's for example, is a length, that would be an area. Okay? But if that was 3x squared plus 4x squared, I get 7x squared. So think of x squared as an object and x as a different object. As long as I change the the way the expression is, they are two completely different objects. Let's think about them like that. Okay, so you can only add terms that are identical in their variables. Of course, this can be 3, that can be negative 15, but if that's x squared and that's x squared, or that's n to the fifth and that's n to the fifth, yes, they are of the same type, so I can add them, subtract them, and so on and so forth. Here we have I have two worksheets. So I think I will do only, maybe we'll do the right-hand side of this and the left-hand side of the other, because there are too many. There are like 20, so we don't have time for that. But the idea would be easy. Now, this one is about multiplying uh, by a constant, not multiplying two binomials or two trinomials. We learn how to do that. In fact, you already know some of these. You know how to multiply binomial. How do you square x plus y? You know that, right? So that's type of multiplication of binomials or even trinomials. Okay, so here we need to multiply. It's very easy, as you can see. Why? Because I'm going to take the negative 6 and distribute it. So I get negative 6x plus 18, which is C. See how simple it is? Number 2, again, use the distributive property to simplify. Distribute the 3, so I get 24x. I distribute the 3, I get plus 6y. 24x plus 6y is A. The third one, 6 times 5x is 30x minus 6y. 30x minus 6y is B. Number 4, here I have to do two things together. So I have 4x minus 4, and then I have a negative. So be careful. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. I'm going to place the x's under each other and the constant under each other. Negative times negative is positive, and 5 times 1 is 5, so plus 5. In which case, I get negative x plus 1, which is A. And finally, here I distribute also, but the negative 4 is after. It doesn't matter. I'm going to multiply it by x. I get negative 4x. I'm going to multiply it by 6. I get minus 24. You know the commutative law that if this is like that, I can write it as negative 4 first times x plus 6 if you feel it's easier. Again, negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times positive 6 is negative 24. Okay, didn't take that long, so maybe if we have time, we do the rest. Okay, here, maybe I'll get another piece of paper so you see what you need to do to be on the safe side. Oh, we said we are going to do the right-hand side here. That's a trinomial of degree 2, and that's a trinomial of degree 2, and both of them have x squared, x, and a constant. So it's better to write them on top of each other, and you say 3x squared minus 2x minus 5, and then you are going to subtract. I'm going to do the subtraction, and then I'm going to tell you something, because some students, when there are positives and negatives, they get confused. They forget to distribute the negative sign. But anyway, we'll do it later. So minus negative 8x squared minus 3x minus 1. So I say 3 minus negative 8 is 3 plus 8 is 11x squared. Negative 2 minus negative 3 is negative 2 plus 3, which is plus 1. We don't write 1x. I've seen many students write plus 1x, which is not wrong, but just x. I ate a banana, or I ate one banana. But usually we don't say I ate one banana, right? Okay. Negative 5 minus negative 1 is negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. And that's D. The other method I want to tell you about is if I have something that looks like that, I change the negative into positive and change the sign of everything inside the parentheses. In this case, all of them are negative, so I make them positive. But even if some were negative and some were positive, the positive I make it negative and the negative I make it positive. And you say, yeah, instead of distributing everything, I just distribute the negative sign. So negative times negative is positive, negative times negative is positive, negative times negative is positive. So when you have a negative, if you are subtracting, you can change it into plus and then change the sign of all the terms inside the parentheses. For some, it might be easier. Let's look at the second one. The second one has negative 6x squared plus x minus 7. And then I'm going to subtract. Again, you see subtraction, I'm going to change it into plus and change all of them were negative, so all of them would be positive inside. 3x squared plus 7x plus 7. Negative 6 plus 3 is negative 3x squared. 1 plus 7 is 8x. Negative 7 plus 7 is 0. They cancel each other. So the answer is D. In fact, all of these, I'm going to skip and move to the right. And you'd say, why? Can't you solve the ones on the right? No, I'm going to move to the left for another reason. Let's do number 3. So we did 6 and 7. Yeah, I know. But then I moved to the right-hand side. The reason I moved to the right-hand side is that some people just add the first two, the second two, and the third two. No, we don't do that. You have to write them in standard form. And standard form is a form which has the variable, in this case it's x, in fact in all of them is x, with decreasing degrees. The highest degree here is 4. So I'm going to write negative 7x4 first. And then I have plus 7x cubed. And then I have minus 9. There is no x squared or x. I have a plus, so that's easy. 3x to the 4 under x to the 4, minus 5 under minus 9, minus 3x cubed under positive 7x cubed. So you place them underneath each other and usually in standard form. All of them are in standard form except probably the last one, but we did already two already in standard form, and then I thought that the ones on the left are not in standard form. That's why I'm showing you how to do it. It's so easy. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4x to the 4. 7 minus 3 is positive 4x cubed. And negative 9 minus 5 is negative 14. So that is B. Yeah, B. Okay, let's go back to number 9. Go back to the right-hand side. They are in standard form, so I'm going to write 3x squared minus 8x plus 4. And now I have a negative, so I'm going to switch it into positive. The negative x squared becomes positive x squared. Negative 4x becomes positive 4x. And positive 2 becomes negative 2. So I change the subtraction into addition very easily. Now I don't have to worry about distributing the negative. I already did it beforehand, so I don't forget, because some students where I saw, I mean, if you don't have trouble, don't do it. I mean, there is no reason to change. But for those who have trouble, I've seen it over and over. and yet over again that they distribute the first and then they forgot about the rest and they write positive x squared minus 4x plus 2. It's unfortunate, but when they are working in haste, they are doing it fast, they forget to keep track, be patient, distribute everything. This is basically, it's like -1. There is a 1 that is missing here, right? It's -1. It's like when we say in the previous problems, when we say -5 times that. If that was -1, we usually don't try the 1, we say minus. But in fact, it is -1 times that. -1 times -x squared, -1 times -4x. Because some people say, okay, the negative sign changes inside. It really doesn't. It's a multiplication of two negative values. One of them is -1, and as I said, we don't write the 1 in multiplication. So I don't say -1x, meaning -1 times x. It's just -x. Okay, so let's continue. 3x squared plus x squared is 4x squared. -8 plus 4 is -4x. And 4 minus 2 is +2. And that is C. And finally, I have number 10. It's -2x cubed plus 8x minus. So again, I can change that, but notice that the second polynomial is not in standard form. So instead of negative, I can make it positive and everything would be negative. So I could have said plus 7x, I write it -7x. 4, I say -4. 5x cubed, it's -5x cubed. And now I say -2 minus 5 is -7x cubed. 8 minus 7 is 1, so plus 1x, but I write it plus x minus 4, and that would be the answer. Um, so I think that's it. It was a short session, but at least now we know the meaning of polynomials. We know the meaning of a binomial or trinomial or polynomial. We can find the degree of a term or of a polynomial, which is the highest power or the highest product. Here, it's a times b times c squared. The degree of a is 1, of b is 1, of c is 2. So the whole term has a degree of 1 plus 1 plus 2, which is 4. Okay? The rest is pretty straightforward. As I said, as I always say, please don't hesitate to comment if you have any question or anything that is ambiguous or doesn't make sense to you. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, I wish you all the best and hope to see you tomorrow. Bye.